I never thought that, goodness, I'm going to go and meet, a stripper and start dating her. The only thing that has affected my dating life in a positive way is learning how to talk to women, learning conversation skills. I was fucking tired of, going to bed lonely every night and feeling like inadequate, feeling like I wasn't attractive. This has had a larger impact on my life than any deal I've ever made, than any contract I've ever signed. The money that I spent with you changing my life is negligible compared to what I gained from this. When you learn the rules of how to have effective conversation, it applies everywhere.
Exactly.
It applies to your conversation in business, absolutely.
Big time.
It applies to your conversation in just like other men. I never imagined, being a kind of guy that can just walk up to a stranger, a girl that I've never met before, and say, hey, I thought you were really cute. I want to get your number. And then for that to develop somewhere, to the point where you actually like full-on relationships with these girls. It's been pretty crazy, multiple girls. I mean, all kinds of crazy stuff, and I'm just like, this is me? Before you and I started working together, I probably ran through about 7 or 8 different dating coaches. The advice was just not there. It was very gimmicky stuff.
Right.
A lot of like really cheesy one-liners. A lot of stuff that's like sort of downright manipulation that I was not comfortable with. I was on antidepressants because I was just at home all day and all night, every night. I'm happier now than I ever have. And it's not because I'm getting late.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, that's great.
Yeah.
I'm happier now than I ever have been because
All right, here with the one and only Jay. So thank you very much, dude, for doing this interview today. Really appreciate it, my man.
Absolutely.
And it's been like 3 years since we last worked together, so It's been good to catch up. And I'm excited to tell the guys, or for you to tell the guys about some of your dating developments, shall we say, since we've last worked together. Because by all intents and purposes, it sounds like you've put the skills to very good use.
Oh yeah, no, it's been like a total transformation. I'm an entirely different person who I was. In the best way possible.
Right, yeah.
Actually, it's weird to say I'm an entirely different person. I feel like I'm more like myself than I was. I don't think I quite realized how much I was hiding my personality. Mostly behind fear, whatever it was. Fear, shame, feeling like a feeling of inadequacy, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I think one of the big things that came out of this, I mean, look, we can sit here and talk about like, oh yeah, the results. I'm getting this many dates, and the different relationships and whatever with girls half my age or whatever. I could talk about that from a results point of view.
Yeah.
But truly, I think the most important development that came out of it has to do with how I feel about myself.
Yeah.
And I think. And a lot of people don't put enough stock into that. And I think this is the thing about a lot of coaching and stuff that's online. I think people have a reverse. I think people say, well, you got to work on yourself and love yourself in order to see results in your life, especially with dating. You got to love yourself first, otherwise who's going to love you? The problem with that is you can work on yourself all day long, but if you are feeling like you are unlovable,
right,
or unattractive.
Yeah.
And if you're feeling that way because that's the results you're getting, there's only so much that you can do from an inner work perspective that'll actually have some effect on your life.
Yeah.
What has an effect on your life, it's kind of like, I always equate this to working out at the gym. You can sit there and think, okay, I love my body, I love who I am, and look at yourself in the mirror with all your fat rolls and say, I love myself just how I am. But the reality is, once you take the emotion away, that kind of, just put the work in.
Yep.
And you get someone who can train you, who knows what they're doing.
Thank you.
And so you're doing effective work.
Yep.
You're not just mindlessly lifting weights and eating whatever. You have someone who understands the science behind it, right? So then when you start working out and you start to actually get into shape, then you're like, man, I do really love myself.
Yeah,
Not only that, but you're proud of yourself
Yeah.
for what you've done.
Yeah.
I never imagined, being a kind of guy that can just walk up to a stranger, walk up to a stranger, a girl that I've never met before, and say, hey, I thought you were really cute. I want to get your number. And then for that to develop somewhere, to the point where you actually like full-on relationships with these girls.
Damn.
And it's like, I never thought that was possible for me,
Yeah, and I think something you said is pretty powerful there. It's like you can love yourself as much as you want, but what we worked on was very practical. Like, do this, do this, do this.
Yeah. So and I said this before.
Come a little bit closer to the mic. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. So I said this before, but I always equate this with working out because I feel like the similarities are so there. And I saw this debate on YouTube between the fat positivity movement and a personal trainer.
Yep.
And the fat positivity movement, people were like, well, I love myself just how I am. And it's like, but you're not getting it. Like, you clearly don't because you're abusing your body,
Yeah.
And they didn't really, they're just lazy. They don't want to put the work in. If they truly love themselves, this is the thing. If you truly love yourself, you will make yourself better. And quite frankly, I was fucking tired of, going to bed lonely every night and feeling like inadequate, feeling like I wasn't attractive.
Yeah.
I had I was sort of unfortunate growing up in that I had a lot of friends and relatives and brothers and cousins who were very attractive, so got a lot of just from women. Well, we already ordered.
Thank you.
I had a lot of, I'll start that again. I sort of was a little bit misfortunate growing up in that I had a lot of friends and relatives, brothers, cousins that were very attractive and got a lot of attention from women without trying.
Right.
And their advice was terrible.
Right.
It was just like, oh, you just talk to them,
Yeah.
And
be yourself.
Be yourself. The funny part is they're right.
Yeah.
Right? But you have to put, if you're not like a supermodel looking guy, whatever, and I'm not, you have to put the work in to understand the science behind what women respond to.
Yep.
There's this really famous Ross Jeffries video from like the 80s, and they say, do you really think you know what women want? And he said, I don't care what women want.
Yeah,
I care what they respond
facts.
to. And what they respond to is a lot different than what you think it is.
Facts. Yeah.
I thought when I first, started approaching women, that I would be agreeable and nice and whatever. And what I realize is that doesn't work. They don't respond to it.
Yeah.
They say they like it, but they don't. What they like is a little bit of a challenge. They like for you to be teasing, They like for you to be different and to challenge the way they're thinking a little bit.
Big time.
Make them feel something.
That's it, yeah.
This has been an absolutely transformative process. I'm happier now than I ever have. And it's not because I'm getting laid.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, that's great.
Yeah.
I'm happier now than I ever have been because I've taken the techniques, right, that you've shown me, and I've been able to implement it, and I'd put the work in.
Yep, facts.
Right? It's just like going to the gym.
Yeah, you got to put the reps in.
You can say you're happy, you're fat and happy all you want, but if you go to a trainer and they teach you the technique and then you go and put the work in, trust me, you're going to be a lot happier. You're going to love yourself a lot more.
And it's a lot happier. It's a lot easier to be happy when you got a smoking hot girl on your arm, right?
Yeah, 100% or two. Before I started working with Tim, a lot of the challenges I faced, I think, were mainly fear-based. I thought, I was convinced I was unattractive, right? And I think because of that, I just I never really thought I was good enough, right, to approach a girl, especially, a girl that I find attractive. And so, before working with you, I had worked with other coaches, and they never really, I think you have a sort of a very scientific approach. Again, it's like working out. Like, what's effective, not just on talking to girls, but what's effective in reshaping how you think so that when you're able to when you see somebody you like, you can go approach them. So there was a lot of fear, when I first started. There was a lot of I mean, I'm not just talking about nervousness, I'm just talking about like fear. Like you're standing, I'll give you an example, okay? So I was at a train station in London, and there was this beautiful, beautiful Ukrainian girl, brunette, and she was standing, I don't know, maybe 6 feet away from me. And even then, I had like this nervousness, like, what do I say? What do I do? And then I would just, I remember the stuff that we had went through, and I sort of calmed down. And then I just went up to her. Don't even know what I said. I don't even know what my opener was. It may have been something as stupid as just like, do you know when the train is getting here? You know what I mean? But in implementing what I learned from you, I was able to not just have an amazing conversation with her. We got onto the train together. Yeah. And I wound up dating her for 3 months.
Damn.
The funny part is, she told me later, a couple of weeks later, she told me that she enjoyed talking to me so much that she intentionally missed her stop. She was supposed to get off the train. Wow. But she stayed on the train so we can keep talking. And then when I got off, she went back and then went back to her stop. Damn. That's how much. Yeah. And I was just doing what I taught, what I learned from you. You know what I mean? And in doing that, I was able to relax and let my own personality shine. And I ended up dating her for 3 months. And then the funny part is, and I liked her and everything, but, I was the one that broke it off with her for reasons, and I never imagined that I would be breaking up with a girl that was this, beautiful.
Was that the one you showed me yesterday? She was smokes.
Yeah, but she, look, she's a lovely girl. I have nothing bad to say. It just wasn't what I was looking for in a relationship. But to go from seeing a girl and saying, wow, she's so hot, what do I say? Yeah. I can't say anything. That's creepy. If I approach her, that's weird. Well, it was so creepy, it was so not creepy that, 3 months later, she's like, but I love you. Why do you want to break up? You know what I mean? It's just like, how did that happen? I feel like I'm in a multi-universe, Yeah. So I think the biggest thing that I learned from you is how to conquer that fear of that initial approach. And so now, no matter what the situation is, if I'm at a party, if I'm at a networking event, if I'm walking down the street at our train station, that fear that's holding me back isn't there. I mean, I get so nervous, you know what I mean? I'm a human being, so okay. But it's a different kind of nervousness.
Because there's that conversational structure now, right? You have those...
Yeah, and I think that's really, really huge, because I think the big part of it is like, what do I say?
Yeah,
right?
It's pragmatic.
And so when you give yourself some sort of a framework, you told me this, that like, what game would you ever play that doesn't have rules?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? That's not a fun game. Just go out in the field and here's the ball, start kicking it. No, you want to have rules, otherwise Absolutely. It's no fun.
Gamify.
And the thing about it is, nobody teaches the rules. It's like, I don't know why, but like people think it's, bad to learn the rules of conversation. That's all this is. Yeah. And by the way, here's another thing about that. When you learn the rules of how to have effective conversation, it applies everywhere.
Exactly.
It applies to your conversation in business, absolutely.
Big time.
It applies to your conversation in just like other men. And you get what you want and from other people. And not in a malicious way. I'm not getting from hurting other people.
Yeah,
you know
you're
what I mean?
Open and kind.
Exactly. I've never hurt anybody.
Yeah, facts.
I mean, okay, I heard that.
Apart from me, I'm joking. We've known each other 3 years. He's a good guy.
Right. But so I think conquering that fear and knowing what to say when I see somebody that I like is probably the number one thing that I learned from you.
Fantastic, man. And one thing for the guys watching it as well, like you're a high value man, across pretty much every domain, like financially, you run businesses, you speak very well, you're well dressed, you can have everything on paper, but until you get this area of your life sorted out, it's like the missing piece almost.
Yeah, no, I've been in a place in my life where I've been more successful than I am now.
Right.
More shredded than I was now. I actually have a picture on my phone when I was about 11% body fat.
Yeah, I remember the picture.
And I was doing like really well financially, and I had never looked so ripped. Okay,
right.
This is a long time ago, and I remember I wanted to take a picture of myself because I'd never gotten this ripped before, but I was so miserable because I had nobody to share this picture with.
Wow.
And I took the picture anyway, and I looked at the picture. It was a long time ago that I took this picture, and I looked so sad, and I was. And the reason why I was because I like, how is it that I got everything else in my life handled? Like I got shredded. I'm now like financially successful, but I don't have a single girl on my phone that I could text right now to say, "Hey, what's going on? Do you want to go out?" You know?
Yeah.
And no prospects, nothing to look forward to. And I'm sorry, but like, there's no amount of money and no amount of being shredded can actually make you feel as good as being wanted by another woman. It's just the way it is.
It's the way it is. And the irony is that you were, well, possibly in a better position financially, arguably in better shape then, and now you're not as, let's say you're still doing well financially, but
Doing okay.
But your results, yeah, you're doing well. I mean, as far as I can tell. But your results of women are better now than they've ever been.
Yes.
And it's not because they're in better shape. It's
No.
because
Wait, what are you trying to say? No.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's pretty sexy, but that's just me.
Yeah, no. I mean, I've gained a little bit pounds, and I'm trying to work that out. In fact, it's so funny because now I'm feeling so confident because of the work we've done together. I like, okay, now I want to get back to 11% body fat because I want to. Not because like it'll make me better. It's almost because like I want to give a gift to my younger self, saying, "Hey, you did all that." I know why I got shredded all those years ago. It's because I wanted to get girls, and I didn't.
Wow.
I know why I worked so hard to make a lot of money. It's because I wanted to get girls, and I didn't.
Wow.
The only thing that has affected my dating life in a positive way is learning how to talk to women, learning conversation skills. That's it. Nothing else matters. It doesn't, I mean, things help. Like if you dress well, if you have money, like, it helps theoretically. But I know guys that are a lot heavier than me and a lot poorer than me that do very, very well because they understand how to have conversations with women.
Facts. So before we started working together, what had you already tried?
Before you and I started working together, I probably ran through about 7 or 8 different dating coaches.
Right.
And the advice was just not there. It was very gimmicky stuff.
Right.
You know, a lot of like really cheesy one-liners. A lot of stuff that's like sort of downright manipulation that I was not comfortable with.
Okay.
You know? Like I remember I stopped working with this one coach because he was just emphasizing your main goal is to get the girl drunk on the date. And I'm like, bro,
really?
I'm not into it. Like, no. Like, I'm sorry. That's not going to work for me.
Wow.
You know? I had another coach that was like, oh, if you want to get laid, just lower your standards. Go for ugly girls. And I was like, why am I paying you for this? You know?
You told me you paid them, you did a residential and that was their take.
Yeah, I did a residential. That was very, disappointing. And I think because they never really got to the core issue. And the core issue is the conversation skills.
Yeah.
And you really have to look at it as a science.
Yeah, completely.
Like, it is extremely... It's so funny because, this girl I'm seeing right now...
She's very pretty, by the way, fellas.
She said... And I told her about all this. And she said, well, I don't understand. Like, when you and I talk, like... I'm not trying. The conversation just flows. Why can't you just let it happen naturally? I'm like, girl, it's happening. It feels natural because I'm doing something. Believe me, if I was not working so hard to make this conversation feel so natural, you would not be interested. Because a natural conversation, if you would just be like, yeah, cool. I mean, but when you are like working that conversation to make her feel good, to her, it just feels like it just happens so naturally.
Chemistry.
Yeah, it's chemistry, right? It's science. Chemistry is a science, right?
Yeah.
And this is all a science, And so
facts.
It's so funny because that's what I don't think girls realize. Like when they're having a conversation with somebody and everything's flowing naturally, you're doing a lot of work behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And it's good work. I mean, I'm not complaining. I actually enjoy doing it. You're doing a lot of work behind the scenes to make her feel a certain way.
Leading, being masculine.
Yeah, that's your job. You know what I mean? Our job is to lead. Our job is to hold the frame, to make them feel. Your whole job is to make them feel good. And that's what you want out of an interaction.
And the irony is, you do these things so well. Like with men, you're an absolute natural. Like, as we're having this conversation, it's almost like I'm in your frame as we're talking. I'm listening to you, and I'm like, wow. But it's like actually transferring that over to women. It's
Yeah, I think a lot of guys, like I've always been pretty good with conversation with normal people, but then as soon as I meet a girl, I clam up, right? And it's because of the fear. And so I think this is another thing that's really, really important. I don't think guys realize how much work you have to put in to sort of desensitize yourself.
Yeah.
You really kicked my ass on that because I simply wasn't approaching enough.
Yeah.
Right?
Sometimes you need to get your ass kicked a little bit. In a nice, friendly way, you need to get your ass kicked.
And I think that when you approach a lot of women and talk to a lot of women, then you become desensitized.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing because then you can, you're desensitized to her beauty, and you're like, okay, well, who is this person really? Do I even actually like them?
You take an interest in what's actually in front of you outside of how she looks. And when that happens, she can see you're evaluating her for more than her appearance, so you come across as a guy with standards, and all of a sudden you're interesting to her.
Yes, exactly. The reason I wanted to work with you initially is because you have such a different personality than mine. You are kind of crazy, but in a good way. You know what I mean? You have a lot of energy. You're very you're kind of like jumping around in a good way. And I'm not like that. I'm very I have very grounded energy.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm very solid, kind of soft spoken. And I thought it would be interesting to see, because I can see how well it's working for you. Because here's the honest truth.
Yep.
When I saw you talking to women initially, I thought, this guy's so nuts.
Yeah.
This can't possibly work.
Yeah.
And I think when we first started working, I thought, okay, so I have to be like that to get
a lot
the
of people think
results.
that, yeah.
And so I tried that for about 5 minutes. It didn't work.
Yeah.
And what I realized was that, you're just authentically yourself, and you're unapologetic about it. And so I was able to embrace that and embrace just sort of my natural personality.
On top of that as well, a lot of the guys that watch my videos, they see my style. I mean, I don't think I have a style. When you take away trying to have a style, I'm what's left. But the work we did together is all straightforward principles. Doesn't matter whether you're an extrovert, doesn't matter whether you're an introvert. It's, you open strong, good eye contact, whatever. The framework that we taught you, it's not about the fact that I'm this guy that jumps around a lot. It's about, are you getting the principles?
Actually, this is another big reason why. This is a big reason why I wanted to work with you, because you approach it like a science, and it is.
Yeah.
It's like math.
Yep.
2 + 2 must equal 4.
Facts.
Right? And it doesn't matter if you're a math professor, it doesn't matter if you're dressed crazy or if you're just conservative.
Exactly.
Or if you're just like a homeless person. Your 2 + 2 will always equal 4. And I was attracted to that because I wanted something that worked. And I can be a very analytical person.
Right.
Like, I like certainty in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so what I realized about your method was very scientific. And it was like, if you do this, this will happen.
That's it.
And what I realized about people is people aren't as sort of free-flowing as you think they are. People follow very similar patterns.
Yeah.
And what's very attractive, and we'll go the opposite way. When we talk about women being attractive, it's science. We're attracted to their symmetry. We're attracted to the ratio, hip waist proportion, all that stuff, right? It's science. So it's the exact same thing for women. If you're just talking to a girl and you just are just talking haphazardly, it may not go anywhere. But if you understand scientifically what attracts a woman,
absolutely,
and then you use those scientific principles like math, and you apply that, then a girl can't help but feel attracted. Yeah. It's not something she can stop from happening.
Grounded body language, controlling your vocal tonality, challenging her, teasing and challenging, making sure you have rapport. The girl needs to feel she needs to feel attraction. A lot of guys fuck this up. They'll go in very attractive. They don't build enough comfort. Yeah, and it's about getting these ingredients, And so yeah, no, I appreciate that, dude.
And then it just takes practice. It takes the work. Practice. It's almost like learning a new instrument. It's like learning piano or something. Like you learn the fundamentals, but you still got to practice before you can learn how to really play that guitar or whatever. You got to make your mistakes, you know what I mean, with the fingers and playing the guitar. Like it's literally just practice. I'm gonna be honest, when I first saw your stuff, I didn't think that we would be a good match, and the reason why is because you have a very animated, energetic style, and I don't. I have a very calm, you can just tell from my voice, I speak slowly.
Definitely.
And I thought, he's too different for me. But what I liked about what you did is you approach things in a certain way where I realized that if I could learn the rules from you, then your style doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right? And that actually proved to be the case. What I realized is your unique style, your animated style, my more quiet style, is really just an icing on the cake.
Definitely.
And what's more important is learning the principles of attraction, the principles of effective communication, so that when you are having an attractive conversation, then your particular style, whether it's more animated or whether it's more chill, is just going to be addressing to the whole conversation.
Like we're still doing the same things. Like if a girl's attracted to you or if she's attracted to me and they're on a date with us, it's because we're leading. We're moving the interaction forward. We're making sure she feels comfortable. We're running the conversation. She's not having to do the work. If I'm this playful, animated guy and you're this kind of calm, cool, reserved guy, it's the same principles at play, basically.
Yeah, and the principles, doesn't matter what kind of guy you are. It doesn't matter your style. I mean, look, the girl I'm with right now, you know what I mean?
We're going to talk about that in a minute. Damn.
So the girl I'm with right now, she's like, she told me, and to be honest, I was kind of a little offended. She goes, "You're not my type at all." You know what I mean? Right. I'm not very tall. She likes tall guys with a lot of hair, glasses. She likes kind of like nerdy looking guys. I'm so the opposite of that. And she's like, you're so not my type, but I'm just so attracted to you. I just can't help it. And it's like, well, yeah, because I put the work in, and I know what to say.
Yeah, and how to act.
And how to act, and how to be, and how to lead as a man, to make you feel attraction.
And just on that, like the results, because you were showing me some of the girls that you've dated, and definitely in a 3-year period, I mean, I was quite impressed, to be honest. Like, yeah.
I did okay. Yeah.
Like some beautiful, like, legit girls. Like, you see some of the girls I'm talking to in my videos, guys, like, Jay here is same caliber, at least.
Yeah, I mean.
Very impressive.
I was dating a girl who was a dancer at a gentleman's club, you know what I mean? I met her at the club.
Right, yeah.
Gentleman's club.
Day game during the club.
And I was actually there with some guys, some friends. And
wow. No pay to play for you, my friend.
No, you know what I told her? I said, I'm not going to pay you to get a dance.
There you go.
I said, so if you want to go
that's the ultimate.
If you want to go get the dances from other guys, that's fine. You have a job to do. Go make money. If you want to talk with me, you can sit here, we can keep talking. I like talking to you, but I'm not going to pay you to talk to you.
Frame.
And I went up dating her for 3 months.
Damn.
And she wound up being totally crazy, but that's a different story.
Wow.
But no, it's crazy. She was a nice girl. It didn't work out. But I never thought that, goodness, I'm going to go and meet, a stripper and start dating her. Never paid her a single dime,
Yeah.
I never thought, and she was, And so to think that I could do that was just like beyond me.
Yeah, whereas now we're walking around yesterday and you're telling me about some of the adventures you've had, and we'll keep it PG for the listeners, but it's almost like it would blow an average guy's mind. Like, I don't know if, we'll keep it polite here, but,
yeah,
right?
I have done things, in the bedroom that I think maybe less than 5% of men have ever experienced in their entire life.
I'd say 0.5%.
Maybe. I mean, it's been pretty crazy,
Yeah.
Multiple girls. I mean, all kinds of crazy stuff, and I'm just like, this is me. Like sometimes I'm like, this is so far removed from the person I was, who was so lonely, years.
Yeah.
And I'm talking like years and years and years of just being by myself every single night.
Yeah.
On my phone, on my computer.
You had depression for like a long time, didn't you? Like, if you don't mind talking about that.
Yeah, I had depression for a long time because I was by myself for there was a good period in my 20s where I didn't leave the house for like 2-3 years because what would I leave the house for? And I wouldn't know what to do. I'm going to tell you a crazy story. So I don't remember exactly how long ago this was, but I was at home and I found that there was this bar near my house, and they were playing some music, and it was a kind of jazz-ish music, and I liked it. It was kind of music I liked at that time, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna go there, and so I got all dressed up. And I remember I wore this leather jacket, and I'm like, okay, I feel like I look good. Here we go. And I went to this bar, and I went and I got a drink at the bar, and I just didn't know what to do. And I remember it getting so hot in my jacket.
I remember you talking about this.
And I kept taking the jacket off and putting the jacket on because I was sweaty and I was cold again. I put it on and I would just stand there at the bar and I would look at people and people were talking and I'm like, what do I do?
Yeah.
And I just went home. I went home and then I stayed home for like the next 2 years. And I was just miserable and I didn't know what to do. And then I said, well, I got to do something about this. I started hiring dating coaches. That was a disaster.
Yeah.
I came across your stuff by happenstance. I like, this guy at least seems genuine.
Yeah.
He seems like a normal dude. You know what I mean? And now I completely transformed my life. And I have, multiple, women that that I could text right now, and one that just texted me right now. And, and it's just like, man, like to go from being, I was on antidepressants because I was just at home all day and all night, every night.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And now I'm social. I know how to talk to a girl. If I see a girl on the street, I know how to talk to her.
And you meet women everywhere.
I meet women everywhere. And I will say one thing.
Go on.
And I don't think people realize, like, it's not a magic bullet. Like, going to the gym isn't a magic bullet, right? You still got to go to the gym. And I don't care how ripped you are, you're still going to the gym.
Yeah.
So you still have to put the work in, you know?
It's blood, sweat, and years.
Yeah, that's good. Blood, sweat, and years. I like that.
We don't just work together for 3 months. Like, we work together for 3 months or however long it is. But you keep on working. And I can see that, like, having not seen you do an approach in person, having seen you first time in 3 years, like, your frame is stronger on the street. You're more masculine.
Yeah.
Like, the way the girls are responding to you is different. You're just cooler. And probably because you've been practicing this stuff. You don't just practice it on the street. Once you're dating girls, you practice it with the girls you're dating. You use the same conversational skill, and I can go on.
Yeah, I feel cooler. And let me tell you something. Nothing will make you feel cooler than two girls saying, hey, can we both go to the bedroom with you right now together? And asking you.
Do you know what? One thing I want to say, right? I think it's a really interesting note, right? Like, I'm the nutty guy on the street, but I'm way more vanilla in the bedroom. Like, I don't know the relevance of this. My point I'm saying is, for the guys that are listening to this that just want to have like a nice girl that they can have a boring sex with.
Yeah. That's a good point. I think for me, that's true. I'm a little bit more adventurous in that sense. But I think that here's the thing. The opportunities for me to have a girlfriend, a wife, or to have multiple relationships is there, and I've never had that opportunity.
Beautiful. Yeah. No, yeah, exactly. And you're living the life that the young version of you wouldn't have believed, I imagine.
Yeah, that's true. And that's where I go back to, like, how when people say, oh, it's about loving yourself, like, in some sense I did love myself in the past, but I love myself a lot more because I'm a person who I know I can get what I want.
You really loved yourself because you loved yourself not to give up on yourself and keep trying and keep trying and keep trying. Most guys do like a course with a dating coach and maybe say coaching doesn't work, it's a scam or whatever, but you stayed in the game, and then, it was a long journey for you, like a long
journey.
Before we met, like, you'd already been at it for years.
Yeah, and that's why, like, I have this whole thing, like, nobody loves himself more than a fat person in the gym.
Right.
Because that person has realized that they can be a better version of themselves. And as long as they stick with it, and they are
Same
able
with
to,
this.
what's that?
Same with this.
Yeah, same, right? So I must have loved myself enough to know that I could have a better life than the one I was living. The lonely life. It was the crippling loneliness.
Yeah.
You know, it's not even the sex. It's not even
No.
the. It's not even that. It's really like the loneliness. You know, I had
Right.
a, you know, I had an event that I was going to, and something crazy happened, and it didn't go well. It was a shitty thing. It doesn't really matter, but it was a shitty event, and I left, and as soon as I did, I called my girl and I told her all about it, and I got to share with her the event. And it dawned on me during that conversation that I have had so many nights like this in the past.
Where you couldn't share it.
Where I had no one to share it with.
Man.
Where something shitty would happen at an event, and then I would leave, and then I would just walk home alone and tell nobody about it. And maybe I tell a guy friend about it a couple days later.
Yeah, it's not the same though.
But to be able to call a girl and we're
Yeah.
like, oh my God, that's crazy. What a nightmare of a night. And she
Yeah.
was just like, yeah, you know, and then I can't wait to see you. Come home. You know what I mean? It was a big difference.
No, that's what this is. Yeah, like the girls you showed me on your phone, and that's like impressive and really, really great. And we want those experiences with the beautiful women. But actually, what you're talking about, the getting to share moments of your life with someone, that's like really what it's all about. That's what learning this stuff, like learning to approach a girl that you see that's attractive, knowing what to say, having a framework, a texting framework, knowing how to take her on a date. Like this is life-changing stuff, guys.
100%. I think a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on sex in this department.
Yeah.
It's like, go out and get laid. You're gonna get laid.
What's your body count?
Yeah, well, yeah. And I think they're missing the point.
Right.
I think that sure, that's
gotta
all
go
well
through
and
that
good.
phase.
You know what I mean? But I think that what's more important that you're going to get out of it is curing what I was dealing with, which was just being by myself every single night for years and having no one to share myself with.
Right.
And like, sex is important, but at the end of the day, sex doesn't even last for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes
20
max.
seconds in my case, joking.
Right? 20 minutes, 30 minutes max. The rest of it is like the time you're sharing with the person.
Totally.
You know? And I think there's so much emphasis on sex when really that's not really what's important. What's important is finding a girl who appreciates you, who likes you,
Right.
who wants to receive you.
Yeah. Who wants to receive?
Who chooses to be in your presence.
Damn. Okay. Yeah. Having a girl who's all over you that can't wait to smoke your boots. I mean, that's more a bit on the sex side again.
Yeah, but again, like it's not even about that. I mean, like I'll share something kind of personal. Like,
Sure.
I had a procedure recently, and I wasn't able to have sex for a few weeks. Right. And I spent a lot of time with my girl, not having sex. We had an amazing time.
Beautiful.
There was a couple times where when we came to the bedroom, I just focused on her and made her feel good. Oh. And then she was great. And I felt just as much satisfaction as if I had actually had sex. You know what I mean?
Work. Yeah, no, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think for some guys coming into this journey, they do want to get their numbers up. And I think that's like, it's like some guys have got to go through that phase almost to get to the next phase. I would say, if you know what I mean, like for someone like yourself, you've completed. There he is, texting his bird right now. What she said. Oh my gosh! Can I take a photo of that for the viewers?
Sure.
Just right, okay. Or do you want to? Right, okay. So Jay is momentarily leaving the interview to text his girl, but I will. Considering the subject matter of what was just said, it sounds very contrary to all this. It's all about the love, the message I just read.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, when a girl's happy, she wants to be sexual.
Yeah,
you know?
no, great.
I just got a very X-rated text from a girl as we're sitting here talking.
Oh my gosh.
And it's because of the way I make her feel. I make her feel happy, you know? Okay, here's the thing. If you're thinking about doing coaching with Tim, understand two things. You need to understand that this is a science and it works. And in order to understand that, you have to put your ego aside. So you have to say to yourself, again, it's just like working out at the gym. If you wanted to get in shape, you can go online and get all the advice you want, but you're not going to get personalized advice that's personalized to your body type, to your, body fat percentage, to your nutritional needs, to your, muscular needs. So, and it's a science, right? So when it comes to working with Tim, understand that what he teaches is science. So I had to learn that when we first started. I thought I knew stuff.
Yeah.
And I told myself, because you would say stuff, and I'm like thinking, yeah, I know. And I thought, wait a minute, I'm here for a reason. So I put what I thought I knew aside. I did exactly what you told me to do, and now I'm living a life that I could never dream of.
Getting X-rated messages. That's the first ever time that's happened on an interview like this.
Yeah, I'm sitting here and this girl's
Proof of
texting me
concept.
very X-rated messages.
Wow.
And I know why. It's because I understand, because I've worked with you, how to be attractive in her eyes. And I'm not the best looking guy. You know what I mean? I'm not. I know you're blurring my face out or whatever, but like, I am.
He didn't want to
like,
have his face blurred. I said he had to. No, I'm joking.
I'm like a 6 at most. You know what I mean? Like, okay, maybe I can get to a 7, but trust me, when I wake up in the morning, I'm a 6. But I understand my value, but more importantly, I understand the techniques.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. Like, why do women put on makeup? Because scientifically, it makes us more attractive to them.
Exactly.
Why do we learn conversation skills from you? Because scientifically, it makes us more attractive to them.
Yeah, it's simple. If you can control your vocal tonality, if you know how to control the pacing of a conversation, if you can ask a girl out in a way that's not pushy, invite her into a date request so it seems like a fun adventure, you do that consistently, and you've got to, there's a science to working out your own mindset as well. And anything on the coaching aspect as well, like maybe I was a bit hard with you sometimes, but maybe you needed that.
Yeah, I needed that. That's the thing. I had to put my ego aside and say, look, I don't know everything. There's a reason why I'm paying you money to teach me things, because I don't know it, I went through a similar, I had to go through a similar ego destruction when I went with the physical trainer in the gym.
Right.
When I go to the gym, it's like, okay, you got to eat this many calories, you got to lift this kind of weight, do that. I'm thinking, yeah, I know. And he's like, and he did the same thing. He's like, oh, if you knew, then why are you paying me?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? You're fucking right.
Yeah.
So once I start, and then the other thing people don't get is how much you really have to put in the work as well.
There's no shortcut. Ugh, damn, it's Q1. Woohoo!
Yeah.
There's no.
Let me. She just called.
Okay.
Where
No, you can't skip steps, basically.
Right.
You can't skip steps. So.
Let me answer this.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, so Jay, is there anything else you want to say, dude?
Yeah, I think if I had one regret about this whole issue is that I didn't do it sooner.
Right.
I think I waited a long time before actually pulling the trigger, and that was the biggest mistake of my life, because I wound up spending so much time doing the same thing I was always doing, which is just spending every night alone, when I could have been living the life that I could only have dreamed of, And I think if I could do it again, I would have done this a lot sooner, because we've only got one life, and we're not getting any younger, and and there's so much time that I wasted just hoping things would get better as opposed to actually doing something about it.
Right.
And so that would be like my piece of advice to anybody is, if you're thinking about doing it, do it now. Just stop thinking. Just do it now, because you clearly, if you're watching this video, here's what I will say. If you're watching this video, it's because you're not happy with where your life is right now. So if you're not happy with where your life is right now, when are you going to make that change? And I wish I had done it sooner. So if you are considering changing your life, change your life today. Change your life now. Don't change your life in a few months, in a year, in 2 years, in 5 years. Don't make the mistake I did. Change your life now. Live the life that you had always imagined now. And start making that change ASAP.
Fantastic. And in terms of the financial investment that you made for this, was it like a worthwhile investment?
Best money I ever spent in my life. If you had, looking back, if you had charged me 3 times as much, it would have been worth it. I've spent so much money on so much nonsense in my life, not realizing that the best investment I possibly could have made was in myself, in my romantic life, in my dating life. Yeah. This has had a larger impact on my life than any deal I've ever made, than any contract I've ever signed.
Yeah.
the money that I spent with you changing my life is negligible compared to what I gained from this. And what I gained from this is just pure happiness and confidence. You know?
And one more thing as well is that, like, the snowball effect, like who you were 3 years ago and who you are today, they're not the same guy. Like, you're telling me things about, oh, you can do this with girls. I had this experience with these 2 women, and like what you've gone on, like from the skills that we've learned, you've just carried on implementing, and it's, you know what I mean? It's like J squared type thing.
And it has a snowball effect in other areas of your life. And learning how to communicate with women effectively in an attractive way makes you better at business. It makes you better at interpersonal skills. It increases your friend group. It increases your overall just life experience.
Oh, well, man.
There's no amount of money that, like I said, you could have charged me 10 times what you charged, and it would have been worth it because of the impact it's made on my life. You know, no watch, no car, no nothing is going to have an impact on you. When people say money doesn't buy happiness, it's because what they're talking about is stuff that doesn't matter. They're talking about stuff like cars and watches and houses. That stuff, trust me, does not give you happiness. What gives you happiness is you're standing in line at Starbucks and you're standing next to a beautiful girl and you know how to talk to her and you make her laugh and get her number. That's a bigger high than anything else in life, my friend. That's a bigger high than anything else in life.
Well, thank you, dude. It's been a pleasure, man.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure. It has been a pleasure. Yes.
All right, man. Thank you so much, man.
All right.
Appreciate it.